Hi, I'm Coralie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about questions. And I had a couple written down. They've sort of been developing through the week. So one of them, it first started in my Course in Miracles group last Wednesday. And lovely V, who runs the group, she had this saying that a few of us wrote down, which I really like, which was, "How is this extending God?" And Sheila would ask herself that before starting a new task. How is this extending God? Which could also be, how is this making the world a better place? How is this a good idea? Whatever I'm going to do next. And then I sort of added a couple more questions during the week. And one of them was, how good can it get? And I can't remember where I got that from, but how good can it get? And the last one was from Deborah Poneman, and hers is, how does it get any better than this? And she sort of told the story and had an example of like a woman doing that where things were going really badly, like she got to a hotel in the middle of the night and they had no record of her booking. And she was like, how can it get any better than this? And then they're like, well, you can't have a room. We're fully booked. Everywhere's fully booked. And she's like, how can it get any better than this? And they're confused. And then she goes, oh, and then they sort of went away and had a meeting amongst themselves and said, well, there's this like broom closet that it's got a bed in it, but it's not very nice. And she's like, how can it get any better than this? And she ended up in the presidential suite because they'd had a last minute cancellation. So, yeah, that was the example of that. But the reason that I'm talking about questions is because today I had some clarity on questions that I don't have to have the answers, which was very cool for thinking about doing this because here I am on YouTube and I kept feel before today I was feeling like if I was going to talk about anything, I had to have the answers because that's all part of like if you're doing a business online, the transformation, you've got to go from bad to good. So there's got to be an answer. There's everyone's question and you've got to have the answer. And I'm like, I don't even necessarily agree with answers. And I know I've sort of said before, like, I think it's really important for people to feel listened to. And that's really just so much more important that someone feels heard than that they feel answered because they don't necessarily or possibly ever even want your answer because they want their own answer. Which you might, by some miracle, be able to come up with for them. And that does happen, sometimes someone gives you an idea and you're like, yes, that's it. Perfect. Thank you so much. But quite often, let's say you've got a problem, when you're telling a friend, it's not because you want their solution. You just want to tell a friend, you just want to share whatever it is that you want to share. So, and maybe sort of talk it out a bit of back and forth, and so you can work out your own answer. Wow, what if I don't even have my own answers? Maybe I just have all the questions. And then I just had this amazing sense of freedom with that. If I don't even have to, what if I don't have any answers? I just have questions. It's okay. That just came to me like, so even what am I going to have for tea tonight? I do know what I'm having for tea tonight. But yeah, So I'm not even going to necessarily have any answers for you. But I'd love you to stay tuned because, yeah, I'm going to come up with stuff. And I have mentioned this in other videos, but I feel like I'm going to say things that people need to hear, and most people don't need to hear, and most people click away. That's fine. Do that. But there's going to be a percentage of people who are just going to go, oh, phew, and I'll be quite a relief. And so I'm really hoping that you are those people that I get to connect with. Yeah, that yes, can be can sit with a question and be okay with sitting with a question. Or I'd like to introduce that idea to you if you're frantically trying to get answers. Maybe you don't need them. Actually, back to Deborah Poneman, she had another really good thing, which was when you ask God a question, you get one of three answers, and that was one was yes, one was not yet, and the other was I love you too much to give you that. So yes, which also works in with the this or something better, which I think I got from Mary Morrissey the first time. Yeah, this or something better. So this thing that I want, this, job that I want, house that I want, partner that I want, whatever, or something better. So if you don't get that thing you want, it's because something better is on its way, specially delivered for you. Okay, I think that's that on that one. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.